be here, you guys. It's telling me that it's recording. Just a minute. Okay, so welcome to this call. My name is Jessica Halls. For those of you that don't know me, I am a 34-year-old mama to 3. I am 28 weeks pregnant, and I'm a registered nurse. I've been in the medical field for about 17 years. I'm also married to a nurse, and he is in NP school right now. And what intrigued me almost 2.5 years ago, you guys, that I started these products. I'll be honest, I was very skeptic. I was very much aware and known with the Western medicine world. That's all I've ever known. And growing up, I remember having strep throat at a very young age. I had the pink amoxicillin that I wanted to drink by the bottle because it was so good. But at a very young age, I remember being sick. And growing up over the last 30 years, I've been dealing with chronic illness. I have CMV, EBV, which exacerbates mono often. I do struggle with infertility. I had some PCOS going on, and I had to be on infertility drugs with my third. And then after I had my third child, I was diagnosed with celiac disease. So I also struggle with autoimmune. So you can just kind of imagine me. I was like a leaky gut. I was a walking leaky gut, and I had candida overgrowth. I had the yeast in on my tongue. I could scrape my tongue. I had vaginal infections. I would sleep all the time. I thought I was getting REM sleep. I thought I was getting 8 hours of sleep, but I would wake up exhausted, and I would take 2-hour naps during the day. My now 9-year-old probably remembers a lot of her life with me not feeling well. I missed out on a lot of family functions, holiday parties. I always had a Dr. Pepper in my hand. If you knew me, you knew I had Dr. Pepper. I also always had a Halls cough drop in my mouth, which is funny because my last name is Halls, and I always had a sore throat. I had inflammation. I couldn't swallow. I was seeing ENTs. You guys, as a nurse, I saw every single physician that you can think of, except an oncologist, which is a cancer doctor. I got to the point where I was in desperation and afraid for what my life was going to be like. I was only 31 at the time, and I thought my 30s were going to be my prime years, and they were not. I was not living how I should live and how I should feel. And I wasn't having the energy or patience to be with my kids because all of that time and energy and patience was exhausted on my illness. And it was a very hard place. It took a toll on my mental health. It took a toll on my emotional health. It had a strain on my marriage, which I never thought I would be that textbook patient. I remember in nursing school being like, that will never be me. And here I was living that textbook patient. So I was introduced to Plexus by my good friend I've known her for 18 years. We were college roommates. We got hit on by the same guy, and I never thought I would be introduced to her again 18 years later, but she introduced Plexus to me 2.5 years ago. And it's absolutely changed my life. It's changed my health. It's changed everything for me. And I get emotional because I'm finally showing up where I need to show up. I'm showing up as the mom. I'm showing up as the wife. I'm showing up as the friend and the coworker. I still work as a nurse and I love my job, but I didn't feel like I could give and live. And now I'm doing that. I'm serving and I'm growing, and I've been able to come off all of my over-the-counter and prescription medications. You guys, I was taking 30 plus. The pharmacist knew me by name, and I'm no longer doing that anymore. And I just feel like I'm thriving, I'm living my prime years, my 30s. And I just feel so good. And I'm 28 weeks pregnant. And I never thought that my body could hold or host another baby. And I'm so grateful that I've come this far with my pregnancy, and I feel so good. And I'm so glad that you are all here because I know that I was in your shoes not too long ago learning about these products. And a story that we're going to hear today is from a good friend of mine that I've only known her for 60 days, Christy. I met Christy 2 months ago. She was a stranger before that, but a mutual friend introduced us, and we have just connected. And seeing her health journey is the reason why I still sit here and share these products. Everybody needs these products. Everybody needs blood sugar balance. Everybody needs gut health. Eastern medicine is the missing piece to my overall puzzle, and I'm so grateful that I have found that. So without further ado, I'm going to turn the time over to my beautiful friend, Nicole, and we are going to just hear a little bit about her journey and some products that we have all fallen in love with. So go ahead, Nicole, take it away.
Thank you, Jess. I'm so excited to be here with you guys today and look at all of your beautiful faces. If you are in a place where you can turn on your camera, I love feeling your energy and I would love to see your face. And if you're not, you're welcome here too. So we're so glad you're all here. My name's Nicole, and I do have, autoimmune and chronic health conditions that I've struggled with, but I want you to know that if you don't have that, hang on to this call, because at the end, Brooke Hemingway will share, and she didn't have any of that either, but the product still benefited her. So just take little pieces of our symptoms and see if you can relate to any of them. And I'm not going to go into like a really full in-depth overview of my story. I'm just going to share little tidbits, and then I'm going to share about 2 products that have benefited me. So, since I started having children, I just felt run down, didn't feel super great. And then things kind of started to get worse. And my sister was actually diagnosed with Lyme disease. And I thought, that's so odd because I have some similar symptoms as you. But what are the chances we both have it? We probably don't. So I went on suffering in silence, and my symptoms weren't as bad as hers. And then 6 years ago, I decided, what the heck, I'm just going to go get tested. And I did. And I was diagnosed with Lyme disease. I was diagnosed with leaky gut. And he said that my immune system was at rock bottom. It tested the very lowest that it could test. And so I was always getting sick, always had sore throats, had IBS symptoms, started having gallbladder issues, low energy, crashes, like all the things, joint pain. So I did like this whole Lyme protocol, did all the things, and I actually got worse after I had my 3rd baby. And I thought, oh my gosh, either I'm relapsing or my life is just always going to look like this. Like I can't keep giving my body antibacterials to kill off the Lyme. I got to figure out what is going on in my gut. And so I was introduced to these products. And you guys, I stopped doing all my antibacterials and Lyme stuff. I just switched over to healing my gut, balancing my blood sugars, getting rid of inflammation naturally with these plant-based products. And I didn't need to do all of the hormone replacements and creams that I was doing, and all the over-the-counter medications. I was able to get off of my thyroid medication as I worked with these plant-based supplements, and I am thriving now. I feel phenomenal. I don't have energy crashes anymore. My IBS is better. I have normal bowel movements for the first time like ever in my entire life. It's incredible. I don't have energy crashes. I work out 6 days a week, and I don't need a nap afterwards, which is huge for me. And I just feel so good. I have 4 babies, and I call them babies. My oldest is almost 13. He's going into junior high, but I have these beautiful babies, and I feel like I can show up for them because I feel balanced on the inside. And I just feel like I can go and get so much done. And I love that. And I want every single mama and dad, these products are for men too. I want every single one of you to have that thriving energy in your life so that you can carry that through to your families and your friends and just feel alive, right? So I'm going to just talk about 2 products really quick. I actually only have one of them on hand. You guys, I ran out of BioCleanse for the first time in 2.5 years, and it's on its way to me, but they look like bottles like this. This is the ProBio 5. And then we always, Jess is holding up the BioCleanse. Okay, so we pair these 2 together for gut healing. And the ProBio 5 is such a unique blend of probiotics and enzymes. Most probiotics only put the good bacteria into your gut, which you need, and it's so important. The majority of your immune system lies in your gut. I don't know if you know that, but 70 to 80% lies in your gut. And so when our gut is off, we will experience, sickness and fatigue and hormone issues because the majority of your hormones are created in your gut. And so, we think it's created in our brain. It's actually created in our gut, which is really, really important. And so these are the reasons why I was able to start balancing and be able to overcome my IBS. So what I love about this, because I was on a probiotic before Plexus, I love that it has 5 enzymes in it. And one of those enzymes, I'm going to talk about one of them. I'm not going to talk about all of them, even though they're all important. One of the enzymes is called chitosanase, and that one specifically targets yeast and candida in our body. Now, if you go and you look up yeast and any symptom you're having, you will probably find that they're closely linked. And yeast likes to overgrow really easily. We all have candida in our body. We were all born with it. but it likes to overgrow. And what happens when it overgrows is it can just make you feel like crap. Okay. And it can mess up your immune system, your digestion, all of it. But this enzyme helps to break down the hard outer shell of yeast in the body. And it also has an antifungal in it called grapeseed extract. And all those things go in and just help to balance things out. Now, things that like to feed yeast in the body is like everything in our modern day lifestyle, like prescriptions, antibiotics, sugar feeds yeast like crazy, and sugar is in like everything. Birth controls, all the things, pesticides. So it's really important that we balance out this yeast in our body, balance out our gut. And then the BioCleanse, the one Jess held up, is also going to go in and it's going to help to gently cleanse out any toxins as this breaks it down. Okay. So you might think, oh, I don't need a cleanse. Or you might be thinking of cleanses you've done in the past that are really heavy, but this is actually a really gentle cleanse, and it's a gentle magnesium vitamin C supplement. It's one of the most absorbable forms of magnesium. And so it is going to help you to flush out toxins, but it is also going to help you with over 400 functions in your body, along with hormone health. I like to think of the ProBio 5 and the BioCleanse as weeding and seeding your gut. If you think about a garden, we're thinking about like our gut garden, but if you think about a garden, if you go out in the spring to start working on your garden, you're going to have all these weeds, and you wouldn't start planting seeds to grow with weeds. You would weed it first, right? Because otherwise those weeds are going to suck up all the nutrition in that garden, and it's going to pull from the plants getting what they need, and they're not going to be able to grow and to thrive. And then they're going to like overgrow and overcrowd everything. So it's really important that you go in and you start weeding that. And that is what the BioCleanse and the ProBio 5 are going to do, along with reseeding, so that your body can start thriving and creating hormones again and balancing out, and your immune system is going to increase. So I love these two products. Everybody needs them. They're absolutely incredible. I'm going to go ahead and just turn the time over to Christy. She is, most of you probably know her here, some of you don't, but she's going to share her experience so far on the products, and it's absolutely incredible. We're so excited to hear from you, Christy. Go ahead.
Hello, everybody. Is it working? Sorry, I couldn't. Good. Okay. Hello, you guys. So my story, a few years ago, I was diagnosed with PCOS and Hashimoto's. And I started experiencing really, really bad symptoms. And part of those symptoms were like crazy hives all over my body, inflammation everywhere. Like if I slept on one side of my body, I would wake up and it was completely like inflamed. My skin, you could push on it and it was very spongy. I would just swell. My lips would swell twice the size. I was sick all the time, and I felt sick all the time. And it made me afraid to travel because I was afraid of getting sick. I knew that I would get sick if we vacationed somewhere. It was just kind of like this, became this like inevitable thing. I wasn't sleeping good because the hives and inflammation spiked at night. So I was chronically fatigued. I felt like I wasn't sleeping, didn't have the energy that I wanted. With PCOS, I was pre-diabetic. And so I have insulin problems already. And so that affected my energy levels. Anytime I'd eat, I would just like crash. And I struggled with anemia, hypoglycemia. I was constantly constipated. I know we don't talk about this very much, but constantly constipated. And I just felt like I wasn't being the mom that I wanted to be because of all these symptoms. I felt so sick. I felt like crap. I also, I'll tell you a little story really, really quick. One time I had to get x-rays, and as the x-ray tech was doing my x-ray, she saw my back, and she literally thought I was a victim of abuse because my whole back was just covered in bruises. And she was like, what happened, you know? And I just told her, oh my gosh, you know, it's hives. It's hives. I would bleed under my skin. And so I would look bruised all over. My legs would have tons of bruises. I looked and felt horrible. And then after many, many prayers and years of struggling this way, and lots of tears, I received a health blessing at my church. And I was blessed that I would be introduced to the person that I needed to be introduced to find healing. And I'm going to choke up here, but I was introduced to Jess, and it was that very next week, right after the blessing, and she told me, have you tried Plexus? And I tried it, and you guys, just like, I saw drastic results in the first week. My hives were like way down, and in just a short 31 days, my hives were gone. My inflammation was gone. I felt like a totally different person. I was finally having the energy that I needed to take care of my kids. As a homeschool mom, that was a big deal, a really big deal for me. And so I just really believe in these products because they worked for me. And I'm so grateful that it's given me my health back and my life back, really. And so that's my story that I leave with you guys. I'll turn the time back over to you, Nicole.
Christy, thank you so much for sharing your story. You guys, it's life-changing. It's amazing when you experience the life-changing improvements and then you see your friends and family go through the same thing, and strangers, because I didn't know you 2 months ago. But I've absolutely loved seeing you show up for your spouse, your homeschool, your kids, your faith. Like, I love your story, and thank you so much for being willing to share with us today. Okay, I'm going to turn the time over to Brooke, and a little snippet about Brooke, you guys. So she's my ripple effect. That's what I call her. If it weren't for Brooke, none of us would be here today. And Brooke knows my mama heart. She knows my nurse heart. And if there was any piece of advice that she gave me 2.5 years ago, when I was very like a little eerie, but I had been going to doctors for 2.5 years at that point. And when you do something over and over again and you expect a different result, that's just the definition of insanity. And the biggest piece of advice she gave me was take the leap of faith. It's something you'll never regret. And I'm sitting here today, and without Brooke, I would not be here. So thank you, Brooke. But I want to turn the time over to this beautiful mama of 6. She is also a registered nurse married to a physician, and she's going to talk and wrap up the call today. So thank you again.
Hey guys, aloha. I have the sun coming in the window, so I look striped, and I keep trying to move positions, but the sun keeps finding me. It's about 6:20 a.m. here in Hawaii, and I am an early bird, which is part of my story. Actually, I never was a morning person before Plexus, and I love listening to these stories. You guys love them. Like, oh my gosh, these are the things that make me still excited about Plexus 5.5 years later. But I wasn't somebody like, I think Jess, you mentioned like, hey, hang on, or Nicole, hang on. If you're not somebody where everything is falling apart in the autoimmune sense or having all these things, that wasn't me. However, like a lot of people, I was struggling with the most common things that people struggle with. If you are on this call and you've ever struggled with your energy, put a 1 in the chat. Right? If you're able to, like, have you ever struggled with energy? Like, you don't want to get out of bed. You want to push snooze 10 times. You want to take a nap. I was a daily napper. I was like the nap Nazi. If my kids didn't take a nap, watch out. Like, everybody had to take a nap by 2 p.m. and it had to be at least an hour, not because they needed a nap, because I needed a nap. So I struggled so much with my energy. What about cravings? Anybody here ever felt like, what is wrong with me? Why don't I have better self-control? Why do I want to eat the whole bag of Hershey's Kisses, not just 3? That was me. I had like intense sugar cravings, chocolate cravings, carb cravings. I remember growing up just loving Lender's bagels. Anybody remember Lender's bagels? They sell them in the freezer section now, right? They are just straight up white carbs, like white sugars. And so I had all of these carb cravings, all of these sugar cravings. I also loved my Diet Coke because I was so tired. I was looking for something to help me have energy and get through the day. And aside from that, I think another thing that people don't talk about a lot that they struggle with is their mood. How many of you guys have struggled with anxiety, depression, just feelings of like, oh my gosh, I don't want to get out of bed because of my mood. Maybe not your energy, but your mood. How am I going to get up? How am I going to get through this day? Like, I just don't have it in me. I also struggled with anxiety, and I struggled with depression on and off since I was a teenager. I was never medicated. I was never diagnosed. I was the girl that worked out. I worked out and I was a fitness instructor, and, I was doing all these things. I'm going to shift my phone over here because the sun is now in my eyes, you guys. But I was like doing all of the right things, but I was struggling with my mood, my energy, my cravings. I did have some bloating, I did have some other things like trouble falling asleep, staying asleep, headaches when I woke up, but I wasn't falling apart. And so what happened is I just kept going. I was like, well, I guess this is what it's like when you get closer to 40, and I'll be 43 this summer. And I just accepted that that was normal, when you had kids and when you were getting older. Anybody ever thought that way? You're like, well, I guess this is just what it's like. You get tired the older you get. Yeah. Like that was me. And finally, I came to my senses. I had a friend that was talking about this all the time, and she asked me for a year if I wanted to try it. And I was a big fat no. I was like, I'm not interested. I don't believe in supplements. I believe in exercise and eating right. Have you ever felt that way too? As a fitness instructor of over 20 years and a nurse, and having my husband as a physician, quite frankly, we thought we knew better. We thought we didn't need supplementation. We thought exercise and diet was the Mecca. And so I was trying to do that, you guys. I was exercising almost every single day. Aside from my candy cabinet, we did eat a healthy diet. We don't even have fast food anywhere around us, you guys. It's not like being in Utah where my joke is like, listen, I could drive 2 miles and I could have any kind of food I want. I could have Mexican, I could have burgers, I could have whatever I want. And here on Kauai, I'm surrounded by roosters and horses and no fast food. So I wasn't just putting tons of garbage into my body all the time. And still I was struggling. And finally, I got to the point where I was like, I can't keep doing this. I started the products when my 5th baby was 6 weeks old. I just given birth to her, and I started to feel myself kind of go down that, post baby blues, that dark hole. And I was like, I don't want to go there again. I do not want to experience that again. I want energy. I want to be able to actually want to spend time with my kids. And I don't want to be relying on all day long, caffeine to keep me going, and naps. And so one night, late at night, I ordered the products, and I've never looked back since, you guys. Never looked back since. And the funny thing is, I brought my husband along with me, and he was even more skeptical than me. As you can imagine, being trained as a physician, it's not something typical for them to get behind. It's not something that they're taught in med school. They get a very, very short lesson on the gut microbiome. They do not spend any more time than maybe an hour talking about supplementation. And most of them just don't believe in it simply because they don't understand it and know much about it. And thankfully, after a couple of months of him seeing me feel really well, and him also seeing our kids do really well. Our kids had seasonal allergies and asthma. Living here in Hawaii, I thought, well, it's just a Hawaii thing. There's a lot of moisture. There's probably a lot of mold, all that kind of stuff. So I just accepted it. They were on medication. They needed nebulizers, 6 months out of the year. They had warts, this wart condition, molluscum all over their skin. It was disgusting. It's a viral wart. And I had this beautiful little baby girl, and it's very contagious. And I was like, ew, I don't want her to get warts. So I put my kids on it. Warts were gone, off their seasonal allergy and asthma medication. And my chronically constipated son, no longer constipated. My son that had chronic diarrhea, no longer chronic diarrhea. It wasn't enough to convince my husband my story. But when the kids started feeling better, he was like, maybe there's something behind this. And so he started taking the products. He's had digestive issues his whole life. He didn't see it, but I know he had anxiety. He was super cranky, had a ton of anxiety. He is now super chill. Anybody here on this call that knows him, super chill, happy guy, like super, just easygoing guy now. And also his digestion. He served a mission for our church in a foreign country. And I think he had some things going on with his digestion, and his digestion got so much better. Long story short, he became a huge believer. Now he has a health podcast. He talks about things like gut health. He doesn't talk about Plexus on his podcast, but he talks about gut health. And he recently did a podcast on supplementation because he wanted to do the research, like the clinically peer-reviewed research. Do we need supplementation? Because that's a common question. And you might be sitting here thinking, do I really need supplementation? Do I really need to spend money? Or is this just some expensive habit that people that have money spend money on? And the answer is absolutely yes. Supplementation in our modern day and age is absolutely necessary. Our soils are depleted. Our foods that are picked, not at the prime of their ripeness, and they come from a ground that is depleted. I mean, just think about when you go to Costco, your grapes probably came from Chile. How long ago were they picked? How are they grown? We don't know. And so our foods do not carry the same amount of nutrients, but also we are subject to toxins, chemicals, pesticides, all these different things. And our bodies are constantly under assault. We need supplementation to fill in the gaps. We now know with all the research that's been done that it's not a fad. It's actually something that you need. And from these stories today and from my story, you've seen through example how gut health, blood sugar balance, and decreasing inflammation can change your health. And if you're like me and you're kind of skeptical, you're sitting here and you're like, I don't know about this. It seems too good to be true. I get you. That's what I thought. I was like, how can all these different things be better for all these people? I was like, this can't be a thing. It is, because behind all of these types of things, whether it's energy, weight, mood, digestion, autoimmune, can't sleep, whatever you're struggling with, you're going to find a link to blood sugar imbalances, gut health imbalances, and too much inflammation in the body paired with not enough nutrients in the body. And that's why you're going to see something happen for you. I don't know what that's going to be. I don't know what you're struggling with. I just know that your body will wake up when you give your body what your body needs. And so I'm going to share just a couple of quick products, and then we're going to wrap this up. Ease is one of my favorite things. In fact, I took it this morning when I woke up along with my morning mix. Okay. Ease is a natural anti-inflammatory. You guys, basically all of us have too much systemic inflammation, and this is going to decrease that systemic inflammation. It's 3 natural anti-inflammatories that don't harm the gut, like over-the-counter or prescription anti-inflammatory things do. It also has a digestive enzyme in it. Amazing, amazing stuff. I take some in the morning, I take some at night. And what I have noticed over time is my plantar fasciitis, my Achilles tendonitis, my eyes, I used to wake up with like kind of puffy eyes. This is pretty much fresh faced, you guys, because it's early here in Hawaii and I don't have the puffy eyes. Anybody ever had the puffy eyes where you're like, you wake up and you can kind of do this and you're like, I'm squeezing the water out of my eyes. Like that would be me. Christy's laughing there. So the Ease is amazing for whatever kind of aches and pains or inflammation that you're struggling with. I also wanted to talk about X Factor Plus. Okay. Going back to the fact that we do need supplementation and our foods are deficient in so many of our trace minerals and our vitamins. You're going to get over 50 trace minerals in X Factor Plus. You're going to get fully methylated vitamins, which means they're in the bioavailable absorbable form. So we don't use the cheap synthetic vitamins. And I love that it's paired with an aloe blend that helps increase absorption by about 300 to 400%. And it's got polyphenols in it, which are plant-based extracts that help to promote the good gut bugs in your gut. It's basically your all-in-one vitamin mineral supplement. And I've seen everything on the market. Those types of things can oftentimes go for $80 as a prescription vitamin, and it's $33. So it is a steal for a vitamin. It's also what I used when I was pregnant with my 6th, because I've taken all of these products during pregnancy. I went through my 6th pregnancy, had the best pregnancy of my life at almost 40 years old, gained my 26 pounds, lost my weight without having to kill myself, which was so, so awesome. And last but not least, I want to talk about Slim, which is the pink drink. So what I actually have here is I have the Slim, but I also mix it with Active, another one of my favorite things, and collagen. So you can mix Slim with a couple things, right? But Slim is our foundational blood sugar balancer. It's an antioxidant and mineral drink. And what it does is it helps to balance your blood sugars, which improves your insulin sensitivity. 88% of people have some degree of insulin resistance. And when you have insulin resistance, guess what you're going to struggle with? Hormonal imbalance, trouble sleeping. You might have headaches. You might have things like PCOS, infertility, gaining weight around your midsection, right? If you have that insulin issue. So many different things in your body are associated with insulin resistance, those things that you're struggling with. And so this is going to bring your body back into balance. It's not a caffeine drink. It's just antioxidants and minerals. We have 2 types. One is called Microbiome Activating Slim. This has a special prebiotic that's going to help feed the good gut bugs. And then we also have Hunger Control Slim. Hunger Control Slim has a little bit more fiber in it. And so you're going to feel maybe a little bit more full. It's going to help a little bit more with cravings and appetite. I actually love taking one of each every day. I don't know if anybody here on the call does that, but I start my day with Hunger Control Slim. I had a lot of hormonal imbalances, you guys, and I was a little sugar whore. So Hunger Control Slim was the thing that I loved. And then I love what this does for feeding the good gut microbes. Okay. Really, really quick, why do I add this in? This is superfoods, antioxidants, and green tea extract. It's a clean energy drink, and it helps increase nitric oxide production. So I still hit it and work out 6 days a week. I don't want to put artificial caffeine, soda, any of that kind of crap into my body anymore. If I'm going to put something into my body that's going to give me energy, I want it to have health benefits. So I tell people this is your energy drink that actually has health benefits, because nitric oxide is going to dilate the blood vessels. It's going to increase blood flow, increase oxygen delivery. It's not going to make your heart palpitate. It's not going to make you feel jittery and crazy. It's going to make you feel clear, focused, present, energized all day. And then this bugger, basically everybody needs collagen. Okay. Collagen for the guys out there. Listen, you got joints. I got joints. You got a gut. I got a gut. You need collagen for joints. You need collagen for gut health. You need collagen for your skin, hair, and nails as well. And collagen does help with all of those things. It's like a basic building block in your body. That's why I take all 3 of these things. From the time you're 18 and older, you lose 1% every year. I've already lost 25%, guys. So the odds are not in my favor. I'm going to take collagen. It's going to help my body to produce more collagen. And guess what? I can beat anybody all day long at burpees because my knees don't hurt anymore. My shoulder doesn't hurt. And I have crazy, amazing energy. I want to wake up every day. I want to run around with my kids. I want to do all the things that I do. I'm not just surviving through the day, I'm thriving. And that is really what Plexus is all about. And so if you're done experiencing life in the state that you've been experiencing it in, whether it's that you're sick and tired of carrying around some extra pounds, you're tired of being tired all the time, you're struggling with some serious chronic things, you have headaches and you just think it's normal, you have a bad cycle, you want to hit the drive-through every day, whatever it is for you, if you are sick and tired of dealing with that and you want to live life elevated, Plexus is for you. That's it. Plain and simple. Plexus is for you if you want to live life elevated. And so I just want to encourage you guys to take that leap of faith today. I honestly have seen it all, being in the gym and being a nurse. I've seen all the systems. Plexus is so incredibly affordable. It's not a $300 set, $400 set, $500 set. Those exist. You can get started with a starter pack for $89, or you can go all in like most people do and get the larger pack for $169. If you're the I want to try it all kind of person, which is like me, I'm like, give me the pack with all the good stuff you talked about. Either way, whatever it is that you start with, I know that you're going to wake up a week from the day you start feeling like, what is in this stuff? And you're going to be calling your friend and you're going to be thanking her or him for introducing you to it. So don't wait another day like I did. Don't wait a year. Don't wait a minute. Don't wait a day. Don't wait a month. Just decide that you are worth it. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And I can't wait to hear your story in the future. Does anybody have any questions, by the way? I know that there's probably some questions out there, and you are welcome to ask any questions.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Can you talk about how Plexus helps with anxiety and depression?
Yeah, absolutely. So honestly, this is something that I think more people struggle with than we know, because I mean, just think about the last year, like how hard the last year was. We know, because my husband is an ER doctor. He saw a lot of issues with anxiety and depression, just like so many things on the rise. And there are things that we can do to improve our emotional health. Really cool fact about what's in Slim. Slim has a mineral called chromium in it. Chromium is actually known in the natural health and natural nutrition and food world to be a natural mood booster. So this is going to help to boost the mood, not just your energy and help with cravings, but also the majority of your serotonin is made in your gut. So depending on what you read, 70–80% of your serotonin is made in your gut. And if you don't have a healthy gut, you're not going to be making the amount of serotonin you need. So serotonin is your happy, feel good, chill kind of hormone. So the whole system in the triplex, the Slim, the Probio 5, the Bio Cleanse is helping to improve your mood. That's why I felt so much happier. But I will also say, do you guys feel happier when you have more energy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, I mean, that's a part of it too, is like, oh, I actually have energy. I don't hate my life. And I was like, wow, I have energy. This is amazing. So energy is everything. When you have energy, you want to get up and go. You want to move. People that have told me, I hate exercise, they exercise now because they have energy. And then you start exercising, and guess what exercise does? It boosts your mood. And so Plexus is like this giant positive feedback loop. You guys remember science class in like 8th grade? Positive feedback loop. Okay. So I'm taking something that helps to improve my energy. I desire to move. As I move, I increase my chemicals that make me happier, right? As I get my gut healthy, my gut starts to produce more serotonin. As I produce more serotonin, I want to make better choices with food, right? And it's this whole giant positive feedback loop. It's not magic, it's science, you guys.
Can I add something too? I was just going to say that 9 out of 10 people are deficient in magnesium. And magnesium is another thing that, like, who was talking about it? Nicole, were you talking about how, magnesium is in BioCleanse? And if 9 out of 10 people are deficient in magnesium, part of magnesium's role is to help with anxiety and depression. So it goes back to what Brooke was saying. It's just that loop. When you start filling in the gaps and giving your body what it needs, you will thrive, and you will have more energy, and your moods will improve, and you will just overall feel so much better.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Who else has a question? Do these products have ingredient transparency? Yes. Everything that is on our labels is what's in our products. And so, you can view every single label on the website. The products are GMP certified. And so, there's no mystery about what's in our products. What I will say about any product is sometimes people are like, oh, it says a proprietary blend, and then it'll list all the things in the blend. The reason a company doesn't, like, no company does, they don't list exactly how many milligrams of the blueberry extract is in Active. Active has a ton of superfoods, is because it has to be proprietary, or else anybody could go out and copy it. So a lot of times people are like, oh, it's got a proprietary. I'm like, yeah, even Kellogg's, okay, If you were eating Kellogg's this morning, they are not going to tell you what their blend is for Fruit Loops. By the way, stay away from Fruit Loops, but it's definitely ingredient transparency. Everything that's on the labels is in the product and nothing else. I love that we don't use artificial sweeteners, flavors, colors. We don't use a lot of these like super crazy unhealthy additives that other health products will use. So I'm super impressed with the products, with the ingredients, and my husband has been as well. And then I think there was another question. Okay, Susan, is it an MLM? Susan, yes, it is. It absolutely is. And I'm super, super proud to be a part of it. I think a lot of people have a negative perception of network marketing. And when I came into this, I had kind of like no perception, honestly. I'm grateful I didn't have any baggage. And what I tell people is, I don't really care where the product comes from. I care if the product works. So give me a product with good ingredients that have been clinically studied. Give me a product where I know people have had great results. That's something that I want to be associated with. And one of the cool things about network marketing that I love is that people that are talking about it, for example, like me, I'm putting myself out there. My husband being a physician, like we're putting ourselves out there. And we wouldn't put ourselves out there if it wasn't something that we believed in, if it wasn't something that we knew, we loved, we trusted, and something that we felt good getting behind. I have seen 5,000 probiotics on a shelf, like tons and tons of probiotics on a shelf. If you go into a Whole Foods and it's like, you could stand in there and stare at all those bottles forever, and you would spend a ton of money. And you'd maybe try this one and that one and this one and that one. And you may not ever find anything that works for you. And you go into a GNC and the clerk, they don't know how to help you. They're just paid their $10 an hour and you don't get the personal help and assistance. I love that you have Jess, you have Nicole, you have Kimberly, you have all these incredible people that know their products inside and out, that know the right things to recommend to you, and that actually want you to have a good experience. So I've loved it for the personal touch sort of aspect, and just being able to have somebody you can go to and say, hey, what should I do here? How should I adjust this? Like, what do you think would be best for me? As opposed to going into a store and just trying to figure it out. So I love, love, love that part about it. Okay.
Did we miss any other questions?
I think we got them all. And Kimberly mentioned 60-day money back guarantee. Yeah, that's another thing that's like, wow, Plexus is so confident about their products that they'll be like, hey, try these, be consistent for 60 days. And if it didn't rock your world, okay. However, I know if you are consistent, just like with any health routine, if you're consistent, you are going to get results. You are going to notice changes, and we can't wait to see that. So when you get off this call, you're going to reach out to your friend that invited you, and they're going to give you a little bit more information on exactly what would be good for you. And yeah, we can't wait to see what this does for you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Brooke. Thank you so much for hopping on, you guys. Have a great day.